am using that layout there that I found on Pinterest as my inspiration. And that is by Emma KW at Studio Calico. I don't know. I don't follow Studio Calico except for like whatever I see that's pinned. So I don't know all the designers over there. But right now I'm just putting some gesso, and this is clear gesso, on my paper. I like to use a paintbrush. I know you can use a palette knife, you can use a credit card, you can use a whole bunch of different things, but I really like using a paintbrush. The clear is a little bit more grittier than the white, which isn't really white. But yeah, so I'm going to be painting on my layout and doing some mixed media. So you're going to see me play around a little bit. And this stencil is from the Crafters Workshop. And I am using just part of the stencil. I just wanted to use that. It almost looks kind of like a chicken wire, like a fence type of, maybe more fence, chain fence-ish. But I just really thought that that would kind of go a little bit with my photos. And so I just used that cracked pistachio and some white acrylic paint. It's just cheapo paint, depending on your craft store or what brand you get. It's, I don't know, maybe $1 or something. I think $1.29 maybe I spent for a bottle here in Hawaii. And then this is Martha Stewart paint. So it's a little bit more expensive, but I think I got a box of it. So it was a little bit cheaper, but it was like $2 a bottle. And those colors are really, really nice. So I use that roller, as you can see, and that kind of had like a fence type of look, or like a mesh. And so now I'm going to use this chili bean soup yellow, and then I'm going to mix a little bit of the orange and the white. And you're not going to see me do this whole thing just because it kind of took a while, just because I was trying to get it perfect. Some things I'm a perfectionist at, some things I am not, and this was one of them. So as you can see, I just used washi tape to draw like sunbeam lines. And in the layout that I showed you, which I believe was an 8.5 by 11, but it really doesn't matter because, really when you're looking at a piece as inspiration, you don't have to do exactly what the page says, which I'm switching it up. I'm pretty sure she didn't use paint. So here you see I finished it up, and I really like the color of the sunbeams. And then on the bottom half, I'm just going to do some circles, and then I'm going to doodle in there a little bit. So you'll see me do that with some markers and stuff and make them like little suns. So just a little bit of a different thing. Just lately I had been in a slump, and I was like, I think what I really need to do is just make my own background. I just need to play. I just need to use all this fun stuff that I love. And I love acrylic paints. I love the way watercolor looks too, but I really just, for some reason, I just love acrylic paint. I'm not going to say it's my favorite medium, but it's one of my favorites. So if I had to pick just one, I would pick acrylic paint because it's just so much fun. And like you've seen, I could use a roller, stencil, straight up paint. So, and these are Papermate pen, they're like markers, they're like a felt tip. And I really like them because they work pretty good on paints and stuff. So, which I really find, I wish they had a white, but they don't. It was like a pack of like 12 or something. So I really like them. Yeah, they're called Papermate Flares. There's 14. So a whole bunch of different colors, which is really nice because I like rainbow colors. And then I just use that brush tip pen marker also to just add a little bit of black to kind of make them stand out a little bit. And so these are the photos that I'm going to use, and they are chickens. Wild chickens, because here in Hawaii, you almost can't go anywhere and not see them. So I thought that it would be a good idea, since we've been here for a little while, and I was thinking about it, that I should take a photo of it, of them, and make sure I scrap them, because when we leave, because if many of you know or don't know, my husband's in the military, so every few years we have to pick up and go. So they tell us where to go, we go. And so one thing, since I know that we're going to be moving in a while, I want to make sure I scrap the things that I really love about this place, because I love it here. I definitely miss a lot of things about the mainland, but yeah. So anyway, let me tell you what I'm doing real quick. So I am using this paper to make more sunbeams, or like the sun rays, and I don't have a stencil of any of this, so I just freehand it, and as you can see, I put it on there. I washi taped it down. You're not going to see me do this whole entire process because I use 3 different kinds of papers, but you will see me use a few. So, or you will see me use this whole yellow one, and this is Amy Tan, and I used mostly the new Rise and Shine collection, and I did add a little bit of, I think this paper right here is from the Stitched collection, if I remember correctly. So I ink everything with a yellow and like a pink color, just to kind of give a little interest to the edges. So, and then I'm just going to put them in, and I'm trying to be random and not random all at the same time. You know how you are. You know how we are as scrapbookers. We want to make something look like it was accidentally, but it's really on purpose. So, though I will say that when I started this, I didn't realize it was going to be as difficult to get everything lined up the way that I thought it was going to be, because I took the paper and then I drew the lines and I was like, oh, I'll just put them back. And when I moved the paper, I was like, oh, wait, where did I put this? So I do have to modify, like some of the rays were just a little too big, or like the shape of it was weird. So I had to kind of fix it. And I use my trimmer to cut all the lines, because I cannot cut straight really, if it was a contest and I had to cut something straight, I still wouldn't be able to, so here's the second paper that I'm doing, and you are going to see me do, I think, most of this. And then it is going to cut off, because I kind of shut the camera off, because I'm pretty much doing the same thing, except for my head wasn't in the way this time. I will apologize for that. Like I said, I was trying to get it perfect, so it didn't look like it looked, random. But I really was thinking about the way in the layout inspiration piece was that, you could see all the dimension and you could see all the layers, and I really wish I had a stitching machine, a sewing machine, that's what they're called, a sewing machine to do this, because it would have looked really, really good if I could have sewed some of the beams, but I don't. So, and I was not going to hand stitch that. I've done that before, and as cool as it looks, it is a lot of work, and I'm just not so sure it looks cool enough for me to do it very often. So, yeah, it wasn't going to happen. But the next layer that I do put those on Pop Dots, just so you know, because you're not going to see me do that. In a minute, it's going to go up to where it already was. So here, that I had to cut that up a little bit because it was just shaped weird, and I think it was just where the paper was lined up wasn't in the exact spot, but that's okay. But yeah, so this layout is about the chickens, because especially when you go out to eat and even to certain beaches, especially on the Windward side, all you see are chickens all over the place. And they usually have their baby chicks, and they're just so cute. They're really cute when they're really little. And so like these two photos are not even from the same day, which is why when I do go to put the date on, I just make sure I specify that it's just springtime and not. They may have been from the same month, but I'm not positive. I just randomly will take pictures of like, oh, there's the chickens, they're cute. I mean, like one day I was at the store and I was in the parking lot leaving, and I had to stop and because there's chickens like in the parking lot crossing where I was gonna go. And of course they're chickens, so they don't care. They don't care that they're holding up, 5 cars. So it's quite interesting, and it's a weird thing to get used to, but like you really feel like when you're in Hawaii that the respect, if you will, that the locals have for the wildlife. And so, you would never see them shooing them. They just let them do whatever. And so it's kind of cool and kind of weird all at the same time. So it kind of makes it feel like you're not so much in the city. Though I will say I don't live in the city, so there's not as many chickens in Honolulu as there probably are everywhere else on the island. But it's just really cool. Especially, I would assume that, if you're not from this, if you're from the city and you come and visit and you're on, the more local side of the island, I would think that was pretty cool when we came to visit on our honeymoon. So that piece that I'm using right now, that yellow dotted piece, I had extra paint, so I just did a whole page of dots. So I do that a lot. That's just one way I like to use up my paint, because if I squeeze out paint, I try not to waste it as much as I can. I mean, sometimes there's only so much when I'm in the groove of scrapbooking that I want to go and make like 5 different layouts, backgrounds. And that I did use my silver pen to outline, just so that gave that one a little interest, because it is so white. And even though I used some of the ink just because of how it was, I just really like the way that layered. And I'm just taking some of the cards from the 3x4 cards, and as you can see, I'm just layering it all. Now, I got most of these papers from the Click Kit. I think this was using my Click Kit. So I did really, really good with the first couple of layouts that I used with my kit. And then the layout after that, I just didn't like when I was making it. I was like, ugh. Now that I've seen it and I don't mind it, but it's not my favorite. And I think, like I said, a lot of it is that I just didn't really do much to the background, and I really missed it. And this really helped make me get my mojo back, help me really just feel like me again on my scrapbook pages. So I think that's important when we're scrapbooking, to make sure that we do things our way and not do it just because, we see a ton of other people doing something one way. I think that's when I watch a lot of the great people on YouTube, and, there's so many. It's really nice to see those people who have that defined style, and it's their style, and you watch their layout, videos, and you go, yes, or you see it and you know exactly right away who that is, just because of it's their style. So yeah, I mean, that's not saying that you shouldn't go outside of your box of thinking, but sometimes when it all comes down to it, you just got to do what you love to do and what you do best. So here I am figuring out exactly how I want to put that photo. I know I want it up in that corner a little bit. And so I want to use that cut apart from Click Kits. And that's the one, those are the like printables that you print at home. And so I know that because I have those rays there, the top row all on foam dots or on foam that I know I have to add this photo on foam just because it's kind of resting on there. And I like the way that that looks. I think it looks really cool. So, but otherwise it just wouldn't have sat on there very well if I didn't add the foam to it. So, and I just didn't like that piece, though looking at it on the camera view, it doesn't look as bad as what I thought it did. And that also needed it just because of all the layers and with the other photo being popped up. So, yeah. And then I have a couple, that's just like a label tag. And I really thought that that would look good up in that corner with the date on it. So I will apologize that the very end of this will end up getting cut off because I didn't realize that this was going to be, or that my camera was getting full, and it was getting full. So, yeah. You didn't really miss much, but so these are another little piece from the printables that they had. And so the kits that have those, I really like it because it kind of adds just a little something extra that you can do at home. And since I don't have a Cameo, it's nice that I can add something that I printed at home or did at home to a layout, though. I mean, it's not necessary, but it's just fun sometimes when they have them. So I'm going to use these Amy Tan craft letters, and I really like them. I have 2 packs of them. That's how much I like them. Though I'm starting to run out of letters. I ran out of L's. I had to make a T and L for locals because I only had 1 L. But I don't think you could tell very much. I think it worked out pretty nice. So I put those down first, and I wanted them to be on the opposite sides of the photo just to kind of bring everything in. There's so much going on with that background. And even with the layers, that I didn't want to do a whole lot, and I didn't want to layer those alphas on the race because I wanted you to be able to see them. I want to see them. I want them to show up and stand out. And I think that if I had added my title to that, I think it would have taken up too much. But I just thought it would look a little weird if it was all down like underneath the photos too, just because of the way that cluster is. So the title is Eating with the Locals. So I thought it was a kind of fun little play on. And then I love these epoxy stickers. They're so cute. And so even though I really didn't need them on the layout, I added them anyway. But the colors match so well with those papers too. I mean, it just looks fun. So I really had fun with this. And so I'm going to outline in silver around the edges just to kind of keep everything in because there is so much going on. And I know I didn't need to do that. I could have left it. And I think the silver is a nice touch because it's not so strong that it's just like, whoa, that's way too much. But it does it still brings your eye in a little so that you can see everything. And so I have a couple more of these watercolory boxes. There's a lighter pink and then an orange. And so I'm going to have those down there to put my journaling in. So I'm not just journaling right on the page, so you can actually see the journaling. And then I just add the stars, and those are freckled fawn stars, I think. They're like glittery, and they're the perfect color. And then I add just some regular enamel dots and just random colors, places. I don't know. I tried to do like groups of 3 or whatever, but I didn't want to add paint splatters or like a mist splatter because I thought that might be a little too much with the extra media that I did behind. So I thought the enamel dots would give it that look, but be a little bit more together. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I really had fun making it. So I will talk to you guys later, and I hope you have a great weekend. Bye.